All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to begin. For those of you who just arrived, would you please make sure your phones or pagers or other electronic devices are in the off or stun position so that they don't interrupt the fact that we're doing live streaming of today's program. For those of you that are not from this area, welcome to Emmitsburg. Emmitsburg is a proud place, as most of you know. This is the site of the first parochial education in America, and both the Union and Confederate soldiers marched across these grounds leading up to and after the great Civil War battle at Gettysburg. For those of us that live here, we know how to tell people that are foreign. If you say Gettysburg, we know you ain't from here. The locals pronounce it Gettysburg. Let you in on a little trade secret. Today we're going to do something a little unusual but very appropriate. We're going to remember a Dalmatian. A Dalmatian, much like his and her counterparts and many of the nation's fire departments, did a great deal in the area of public fire safety education. For those of you not familiar with the correlation between Dalmatians and the fire service, you'll want to know that Dalmatians are also referred to as coach dogs because they work very well with, around, and sometimes chasing after horses in barns and stables. And of course, early American firefighting is synonymous with the use of horses, particularly for the pulling of fire rigs and fire steamers and the like, for many years. So firefighters just adopted Dalmatians. They can be kind of cantankerous, and the way you know a Dalmatian likes you is when they shed on you. Now we've got a very fitting program today. So welcome again to this actual very special memorial service for Sparkles, the fire dog, who hailed from the state of Arkansas, and you'll hear a little bit more about that today. My name is Wayne Powell, and I'm filling in for Dr. Harry Carter, who thinks that this program is tomorrow, so please do not tell him. He'll be here tomorrow, Dr. Harry Carter of New Jersey. But anyway, just communications being what they are. We have a number of very special things to tell you about during the next few minutes, but I think you'll find this very appropriate setting, which took many hours to put together. So you want to learn that story before you leave together. In just a little bit, some of you are going to stay on for lunch, and we think that's great. But you can tell it's going to be a great day at the National Emergency Training Center when up in the Widow's Walk, there's an owl out there. I don't know whether the owl's up there or not. Those of you in the back maybe can tell us, is the owl up there today? Well, that means it's going to be a great day, so you're here to witness that. To welcome you officially on behalf of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation and everything that implies here in Emmitsburg is Miss Linda Hurley. Delighted to welcome Linda because she worked here on the campus for many years and had many direct connections to the establishment of the memorial and making sure that it functions each year very smoothly. But there are a lot of behind-the-scene things that most people never see, and Linda makes sure they come together just as they should. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Linda Hurley.
Thank you, Wayne. It's another great day today because the flags behind the memorial are flying at full, which means we are not honoring a fallen firefighter today. So that's always a great day for us. Good morning and welcome. We are gathered here today to honor a very special friend of the fire service, Sparkles. Sparkles was a friend of children, and she was a great friend of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Sparkles was a true hero, teaching children fire safety and saving lives. She was known for her bright red toenails and her constantly wagging tail. And she brought smiles to both young and us who are not so young during the Memorial Weekend when we honored our fallen heroes. Sparkles was our friend, and it is hard to let go of friends. We will miss her. We will miss her being at the Memorial Weekend. It is fitting that she will always be remembered here on Sparkles Pathway on the Walk of Honor with the other heroes that are also remembered. We thank you for being here today.
Linda and her fine colleagues make sure that the memorial is treated with respect and dignity. And for those of you who are not familiar, primarily the guest here today, about 25,000 people a year come to this campus in one capacity or another, either as a student, an instructor, an international visitor. or somebody representing one of the national fire organizations in some capacity working with the various programs here on the campus. This was originally the home of the National Fire Academy when the federal government first bought this property in March of 1979. And that price, by the way, was about $3.5 million, when in fact the property, the real estate, was worth about $25 million. So we, the taxpayers, truly got a real bargain in that regard. For the very, very early arriving staff, we didn't have any of the conveniences that you now associate today. That air conditioner fired up a minute ago, in the early days in 1980, 81, 82, there was no air conditioning to be had. This was a very sparse campus in many ways. The Daughters of Charity next door take great pride in the fact that the fire and emergency management communities have made this the home base for fire training and education and all manner of preparedness, response, and recovery in our country. All of this ties together because much of that is dependent on education, all forms of education, including the education of the very young and the very senior members of our society. To officially welcome you on behalf of the National Fire Academy and the U.S. Fire Administration, Dr. Kirby Kiefer. Thank you, Kirby.
Well, thank you. All of us here understand the importance of the team that's in our work. Of course, that also applies in the fire service, in law enforcement, and also in the military. And in all of those cases, canines are a part of our team. Now, we depend on a team to support the frontline fire suppression and the public fire safety education programs. And everyone has something special to contribute. It might be a keen nose, might be lightweight or agility, as was the case in the search dogs that we saw out in Joplin, Missouri last month. Or maybe it was the patience and the affection that we saw in Sparkles. Last week I spoke at Virginia's Memorial for Fallen Public Servants, and among the fallen were three canines. Sparkles has helped with some truly remarkable public fire safety education and helped set a new standard here in America and frankly I think in the world. So I think it's altogether fitting and proper that we're here now. Welcome to the National Emergency Training Center. Thank you for inviting me to share these thoughts.
Not very far from here is one of America's greatest treasures in the field of education. It's called the Children's Safety Village of Washington County. The individual who spearheaded that, who championed it, who had the foresight to get everybody else involved, and especially a whole bunch of people to volunteer their time from just about every discipline that you can think of, from the field of medicine, law enforcement, fire, the school board, was a fellow by the name of Mike Weller. Mike has inspired thousands upon thousands of people, and we're very fortunate to have him with us today. And for the eulogy, it's my honor on behalf of all of you and all who have attended programs on this facility to welcome Mike Weller. Thank you, Mike.
Being the true risk practitioner that I am, trip and fall hazard here, I decided to move that to the side. Dana, we're here just as much to honor you as we are Sparkles. As Dr. Kiefer said, that working dogs have their place in the emergency services. And I speak not only as a practitioner and a peer with both of our prevention courses that are here, the NFA staff and USFA staff, but I also speak as an instructor from the National Fire Academy. You were one of my earlier students early on as an instructor here, and it is very gratifying as an instructor to stand before you and say, here is a student that took everything that was presented here at the National Fire Academy, and you went back home, you took a vision, you laid a plan, you recruited assistants, and you really put the rubber on the road. And Sparkles and your dogs after Sparkles are true evidence of that. The legacy that Sparkles leaves is clear in the anecdotal evidence that you're about to hear from some of her biggest fans. You will note that Sparkles is a female because Sparkle's toenails were always painted red. There is a place for public education in the overall scheme of injury prevention. It's the root of everything, as we are learning through these 6 days, that's how you make people aware that there is a problem and a solution. You couple that with technology, with legislation, enforcement, economic incentives, and then if all goes haywire, emergency response. We see the perils of emergency response all the time when you walk on this campus. I have been fortunate enough to be coming here since 1983. I tell every class this. There's never been a time I walked on this campus that those flags didn't go down at one point. Firefighters losing their lives. Risk reduction is one of the ultimate line of duty death prevention efforts that we can do. When our brothers and sisters don't turn out, they don't get killed in a line of duty incident. Sparkles was truly on the front line of that by helping provide public fire and life safety education. And we honor Sparkles for that. But we also honor you too. We honor you as the institution and also as peers, as a true champion in community risk reduction. Bless you both.
Pleasure now to welcome to the microphone Ken Farmer, originally of North Carolina, now part of the staff here at the U.S. Fire Administration and National Fire Academy for the eulogy. Ken?
Thank you, Wayne. Let me first read a letter from the senator from Arkansas, no less, home of Sparkles originally, Senator John Bozeman. It says, "Dear friends of Sparkle, today we celebrate the life of a beloved member of the Arkansas firefighting community, which is something pretty special. Throughout her life, Sparkle educated the young on fire safety, increasing fire awareness among the most vulnerable members of our community. More than a mascot for fire safety, Sparkle was an ambassador of the spirit of Arkansas to school children across the United States. Sparkle's effort promoted a proactive response to fire danger and encouraged youngsters to act as heroes by following a few simple lessons. In particular, let us remember her role teaching played in saving lives of families of 2 children in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We all value our years with Sparkles. She touched the lives of all those who had the opportunity to learn from her. Sparkles was a great dog and above all a good friend to Arkansas." Thank you for that vote. I am thankful that our state was represented by such a loyal companion. Sparkles will be missed. However, Sparkles' work will go on through her children's programming, the efforts of her younger brothers, Cyrene and Tango, and Firefighter Dana's unwavering commitment to her safety, to fire safety. As we honor Sparkles on this pathway, I hope that we remember the importance of even the simplest principles that she shared with crawl, blow, under, smoke. I hope that we might honor her precedent in educating our children on fire safety for generations to come. Thank you for your role in celebrating the life of Sparkles today, Senator John Bozeman, U.S. Senate.
For those of you who have joined us in the last few minutes, there are programs over here in this basket on the table, along with some other things that represent the life and impact of Sparkles. But as you've heard earlier, none of that would have been possible without a very, very dedicated lady who committed herself to public fire education and changing attitudes, both a part of the firefighting community as well as the public. She's also had a great impact on legislation. She's called people to task when it was necessary, and she's made sure that people who have worked over and above and beyond have been recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, please recognize the inspiration for this effort today and the impact of Sparkles, and all of us enjoy and bask in the incredible accomplishments of Dana Hilton from Arkansas. Dana?
Get started, I have to introduce Ryan to you. Ryan is Sparkle's #1 fan, and he came all the way from Chicago to share something with everybody here. So I have Ryan and Kyoko, and I'm going to let you speak first before I do. Okay, Ryan?
My name is Ryan, and I am Sparkle's #1 fan. I watched her on TV with firefighter Dana. She taught me how to be safe in case of a fire. I know to check a door with my hand and get low and go like Sparkle. When I get out, I stay out and go to my meeting place. I met Sparkle once and gave her treats. I took many pictures. I am in one of Sparkle's books. I loved meeting Sparkle. Firefighter Dana Skyped with my class and read Sparkle's book. Everyone thought that was cool. I miss Sparkle and love her very much.
Do you see why he's Sparkle's #1 fan? The first time I met Brian in Chicago, he brought Sparkle some yummy treats, and he brought me flowers, and I said, "You are my #1 fan." I would like to read just a little bit, if I may, from the back of this. Harry had a wonderful eulogy that he wrote about Sparkles, and I'm sorry that he wasn't able to share it with you today, but I would like to share with you a little bit about Sparkle's story. Sparkles was rescued from a home with 62 other dogs in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when she was 4 years old. So she had a very, very challenging life. My husband and I and my son Michael decided we wanted to adopt a Dalmatian. I had attended a class here at the National Fire Academy at the time called Prevention Solutions for Small Departments and Communities that really, really jump-started my feel for fire safety education, and I discovered that I wanted to do whatever I could to help make a difference and to help keep children safe. So I really am thankful to the National Fire Academy for everything that the Academy has taught me. And actually, Sparkles, the idea for Sparkles was born here right on campus. And so every time I hear the beautiful bells or walk on this campus, I think about that class, and I think about everything that has happened since that time. I would like to share a little story about Angelica. Angelica is, at the time she was 5 years old, I received a call from the principal at her school that Angelica knew what to do, that she was in a fire-related situation, and she actually knew what to do to help get her family out. So Angelica, I went to see Angelica, Sparkles and I did, after this incident happened, and this is what Angelica told me. I said, "Angelica, tell me what happened." And she said, "Well, Firefighter Dana, I was under the covers and the smoke came. And I got out of bed and I crawled low just like Sparkles taught me to." And she said, "I looked back at my dad and my dad was standing up, and I said, 'Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, you gotta get down and you gotta crawl low like Sparkles.'" Well, by this time he was disoriented, but he was from all of the smoke, but she was able to coax him out of the house. Well, the firefighters later shared with me that the minute that she was able to go on out to her meeting place, but the minute that he got to the threshold, the firefighters scooped him up and the home totally became engulfed in flames. And I can tell you that every time I share that story, it just gives me goosebumps. And it wasn't until the way back home with Sparkles that I realized what she was capable of. And to be honest with you, Sparkles was more than just a dog. She was a safety icon and somebody that was really able to help share the fire safety message. And she was just just a really good friend. Today, Sparkle's work is being continued here on the National Emergency Training Center on the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation Walk of Honor. And if you have time after our service, this section right here is Sparkle's walkway, and it is our hope that this walkway will not only help keep the memory of Sparkles alive and help continue her legacy, but to also show that a fire prevention does work, and that it is important. Sorry. I have, if I can ask Judy Whitlow to come up here, and Linda, if you could come up for a moment, please. I have something special for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. I have two things. One is I would like to donate this portrait of Sparkles to be hung in your offices so that people will always remember Sparkles and the work that she did. I have something very special that came from Chicago. My father made this, handmade this. He's a glass artist. And I would like to share this with you. And just for everybody out there, this is a piece that my father designed. This is Sparkle's actual paw print in copper. And I would like to read to you what it says. It says, "With sincere appreciation to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation for your support of Sparkle's Pathway, June 29, 2011. Thank you so much for recognizing fire prevention as an important part of the fire service and for Sparkle's Pathway. And we just truly appreciate this so very, very much. Thank you." Mike Weller has a special announcement. He's sitting on the edge of his seat with this announcement that he would like to make. So, Mike?
We just wish to let you know, Dana, that on behalf of our 2 prevention courses that are here this week, presenting effective public education programs and leadership strategies for community risk reduction, our 2 classes have gone together as brothers and sisters and purchased a brick in Sparkle's honor or memory, and in your honor, to be placed here to support the Fallen Firefighters Foundation. You're very welcome. Thank you to our classmates.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings our program to a close. Please do spend a few minutes saying hi to all the distinguished honored guests up here, some of whom have come a very, very long distance. We're delighted to welcome members of the Fire Press here, the staff of the National Emergency Training Center, leadership, and the workforce combined along with the contractors. You see a list of folks down at the bottom of your speaking program there, agenda, who've made this possible, but there's many others behind the scenes too who kept it all working together. On behalf of Dana and all of those committed to fire and life safety in our country, thank you for coming. Please stay and join us for a bite to eat here in the Chow Hall. And a number of people want to take a group of photos, so come up and join us, and you can turn your phones and pagers back on. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, me too.
Ms. Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you all are?
Thank you.